Hey everyone, the name's Erik Thor and I'm here to talk to you today about the INFJ's 8 cognitive functions. Yes, all 8 of them. I want to show how these functions tend to manifest in an INFJ in brief. Starting with Introverted Intuition, Existential Intelligence. Yes, the hero for an INFJ is existentialistic. It's a philosopher. In many ways, the INFJ's journey is a journey of philosophy. Your life tends to center around seeking meaning, understanding, wisdom about the world and about yourself and about your passions and your purpose and mission in life. The INFJ secondly has extraverted feeling or performer's intelligence, and in many ways this manifests as kind of your mentor function. For an INFJ, the extroverted feeling is in many ways about wisdom, it's about learning, it's about growth, it's how you grow as a person. You grow by rallying towards a mission or towards a cause or towards fighting for something you believe in. That is in many ways how you grow. Thirdly, the third function for an INFJ, introverted thinking, analytical intelligence. You have in many ways a sidekick, a scientific sidekick. And this sidekick tends to give you kind of a special ability in science or in analytical pursuits. You have some field within science where you tend to be extremely good, while overall your introverted thinking might not be as well developed as in another person. You have some superpower where you can use this function really well. And the sidekick, introverted thinking, in many ways is your inner 10-year-old. Your basic needs and instincts, like your fears and how you try to ensure that you can live a balanced life and how you can make sure that your needs are intact. The fourth function for an INFJ is extraverted sensing, and extraverted sensing is in many ways your rival. It's what you're always trying to fight and compete against in many ways. When you're trying to compete and to improve, you're doing so in relation to your extraverted sensing, and the sensing represents your opposing values, the things you dislike overall in life, the things you don't want to be associated with, the things you want to grow away from. But in many ways, this is also a grounding influence. This fourth function serves the purpose of making sure you don't become arrogant in your introverted intuition. It makes sure that you become grounded as a person and that you can find some kind of balance between these two needs. Because sensing does represent important needs of survival, of security, of tradition, of living in the present moment. The fifth function in many ways is something you don't reach for in yourself. It's something you see in your surrounding environment. And this is true for the rest of the other 4 functions as well. So extroverted intuition, your fifth function, is something you see in the world around you. It's something you can experience while you use introverted intuition. And the role of extroverted intuition is to integrate with introverted intuition so that you can have a more full, rich perspective about the world. This means, for many ways, for an INFJ or an INTJ, that you tend to have or experience this function as a kind of prince or a princess or some kind of inspirational other, in the sense that it kind of awakens you to become more curious and to question things around you, and it awakens your kind of inner detective. And in many ways, the role is always to kind of prove yourself to this function, that your way works as well, because the extroverted intuition represents similar values but a different path to these values. And introverted intuition, while going in one direction, extroverted intuition goes in another. So in many ways, reaching the same goal and finding a way to align these two different paths to make sure that both are on track, that is the importance of integration. The sixth function, introverted feeling, for an INFJ is about treasures in the world, things in your life that you find around you that help you, that give you power, the ability to overcome obstacles in life. But it can also represent a critical influence, like things that kind of question you, people who doubt you, that say, well, are you really able to do this? Are you really going to be able to finish this on time? So it can have a doubting influence, but it can also, in all kinds of ways, it can motivate you to reach, to grow, to improve yourself, and to overcome obstacles. So in many ways, it's integrated with your mentor function, with extraverted feeling. And the goal here is for your mentor who pursues growth to find growth by aligning with introverted feeling, with this kind of treasure function, to reach a more full perspective on what growth is and how you can improve as a person. The 7 function, finally, the trickster, is about kind of temptations that you experience in life. Temptations to cheat, to do tricks, to kind of take shortcuts. And in many ways, it's about like learning to assess these things critically, to become more critical when you notice that people are trying to trick you, to become more aware of deceit, and to make sure that you are in many ways remaining pure. There's always a risk here with this 7th function to stray off balance by doing these small tiny things that seem meaningless, that seem like they won't be a problem, but which eventually can turn you strongly off course on your growing process. And finally, the 8th function represents, like the villain, a real, true encounter of an obstacle, kind of something really big that you have to get rid of, the biggest issue in your life, or the core things that you are trying to overcome. It represents the end of a project, the final challenge, the deadline that you're trying to reach on your report, or it can represent something you strongly are afraid of, but that you have to rise against. And this is the final step in the hero's journey. It's how you grow, by rising to challenge and overcome this function. So all of these functions are important to you, and who you are as a person, how you grow. So learn to recognize which function is associated with what, and what things you are dealing with right now. Learn which kinds of functions that are currently being a big influence in your life, and what step you are in your growing process. Thank you all for watching. This is what I have to say about the INFJ today, and I will give you a lot more in-depth descriptions in the future. This is just the basic outline of our new model. Thank you all for watching.